What's up and welcome back. Rockstar stock has plummeted after the recent call to shareholders. I'm Bandit Barney, bringing you everything you need to know about Red Dead Online and Red Dead 2. Thanks for joining us today. Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two Interactive, the publicly traded company, had a shareholder call, which is public information to all of us. If you want to go grab it, you can check it out word for word. I read through it. The transcript's about 17 pages long. Earlier today, we did a video on all the positive things that came from that. But right now, I want to focus on some of the things that are kind of questionable, that have us worried, and why did the stock plummet after the call. Okay, so first off, foremost, let's take a look at the stock and see exactly what I'm talking about, because I think that's important. We're talking about the stock dropping. Let's take a look at how much it dropped. For those of you that aren't aware, Take-Two Interactive is Rockstar's parent company, their publisher, and they are the company that's publicly traded. So when we're talking about Rockstar stock plummeting, we're talking about Take-Two Interactive because they own Rockstar and their stock. And I think it's a pretty fair and accurate statement, not totally accurate, but it's a really fair statement to say when Take-Two stock goes down, it's a result of Rockstar not performing well, because even in this call, Take-Two looked at, hey, we're looking at net bookings for the next quarter, quarter one and quarter four of this year, and 60% of those bookings are coming from Rockstar. So over half of Take-Two's income revenue is coming from Rockstar. That's why we're saying, hey, look at this, Rockstar stock just dropped. Prior to the phone call last night, February 5th, we had Rockstar at $179.29 per piece of stock that Take-Two was selling, and that was almost a month high. I think they were $3 short of their month high. Right after the phone call, their stock plummeted to a month low of $92.89. So, and that, it's a big plummet at that, because other than that, the previous low was $99.81. So it's a significant drop off of where they were at and kind of their direction going. They were in the $100+ range. Obviously, the stock's going to go up prior to a big sale, Red Dead 2, but then it's going to start to dwindle down when that sale is over with and people aren't as and Red Dead 2 isn't selling as many copies. Now, talking about why the stock dropped so much here, there was a bunch of good things said in the call that the shareholders had with some of the higher ups at Take-Two, and really not a lot of it pointed to things are going poorly. In fact, when it came to Rockstar and Red Dead 2, they were talking about how Red Dead 2 has exceeded the expectations that it had before release. And fair enough, Red Dead 2 has done extremely well and far exceeded anyone's imagination of what it could have been. The story was phenomenal. 70% of it was absolutely amazing. But we're seeing the stock drop after all these good things are being said about Red Dead 2 performing even better than they had planned again in Q4. So why are things going like that? Well, I think what happened here was that there was a lack of focus on Red Dead Online. And a lot of the focus was on how Red Dead 2 had done so well, which is kind of an IP that it's obviously going to continue to make the company lots of money, but it's something that's already been released. So it's not something that we're looking forward to improve the company, rather than it's just something that's going to maintain good income for the company, good revenue for the company. And there wasn't a lot said about Red Dead Online. During the call, there were three higher-ups from Take-Two, Strauss, Carl, and I think Lonnie. And they were basically giving their speech and spiel to shareholders, and as well as answering questions. One of the questions regarding Red Dead 2 and Rockstar was that, you know, what can we expect from them going forward? And I believe it was Lonnie said their new content releases are expected to accelerate in first quarter. So they're talking about how they shifted some of their numbers around in order to accurately meet these expectations of content. And I thought the acceleration of content was a little bit of an odd thing to put out there, because the beta's been released. A lot of the player base, us, have said, hey, there's not a lot here. There isn't a lot here. Red Dead 2 was great. When we go to the online, it's just kind of empty. There's not a lot to do here. Rockstar themselves have mentioned updates that are going to be coming in the coming months, in the next months. That was their last update. And now we're going to accelerate in the first quarter. So this is a little bit disappointing because it does confirm that we're going to get content updates. And first quarter for us is going to be starting in April. So soon, maybe. As for a business, obviously that's very soon, but as a player, a month is like a long time for your game to not have much to it. So I think it's going to be a little bit sooner, but from their wording, accelerate, it leaves the door open to a lot. It could mean that a lot is happening, and it's not very specific. On top of that, a Verge article that was released today, the Take-Two co-founder and CEO Strauss, who was also on the shareholder call, has said that the launch for Red Dead 2 was breathtaking. It far exceeded their expectations, but he doesn't know whether Red Dead Online is going to be able to follow in the same extremely successful footsteps as GTA 5 Online. That, coupled with the comments that were made in the call, had me kind of confused a little bit. So Strauss is commenting here. So first of all, Red Dead Online is in the early days. It's going great. Red Dead Online isn't going great though. Like, as a player, as someone who's playing the game, it's not going great. In fact, it's actually going pretty poorly. A lot of people are losing interest in the game. The people that started playing week 1, there's probably not a lot of them around, and the few of them that are around are just holding out with hope that, like, hey, this game is going to turn around. So to say that it's going great either means one of two things: that they released a free-to-play thing and that they're getting a lot of information on it, because Red Dead Online is considered separate from Red Dead 2, even though you can't play Red Dead Online without buying Red Dead 2. So they're either saying that it's awesome, they're getting a lot of data and information surrounding it, and they have a good plan moving forward with it, or it's because they have just earned a lot of money from the microtransaction store and it's bringing them a lot of recurring income. Either way, the content isn't there. And then he goes on to say, our expectations for what will happen in 2020 are driven by enhanced content drops. So as a business, obviously you're going to be looking towards that. You're always looking into the future and what steps you can take to grow things in the future. That is your goal as a business, to grow more and more each year. As a player looking to 2020, that's really far off. That's a really far off place. But as a business, 2020 isn't far off. It's just 4 quarters away, and you're making plans for far beyond that. Even when we're looking at this, he's saying, Strauss is saying, we're looking at 2020 and things are going to be amazing for Red Dead. Then that's where we're going to see, or enhanced content drops are really going to promote that game there. And GTA 5 has sold over 100 million copies to date. That's not because GTA 5 dropped and the story mode was so amazing everyone and their mom went out and got it. No, it's because GTA 5 dropped, was an amazing game, and on top of that, in the next couple years, they grew the online to another amazing experience. It reached more people and it sold more copies for GTA 5 because the online was so good. Right now, Red Dead 2 has destroyed, like, the numbers, 23 million copies to date in the first 100 days. Amazing. But what's going to drive those sales in the future is a good online experience. And it's clear that that is where Take-Two and Rockstar are focusing the experience to further Red Dead Online sales and Red Dead 2 sales. It's disappointing as a player to look at what they're saying in this call and see, okay, it's still gonna be a little bit. Yes, they're confirming that they are working on it. This is their goal. It's a little bit concerning that the CEO doesn't see the same life in the title as he did with GTA 5. I think that plays into why the stock has dropped significantly. That, with also a lack of talk about where Red Dead Online is going. Now, I'm not this huge, I don't trade stocks. I haven't gotten into stocks yet. I haven't become wealthy enough to make that a point of passive income for myself yet. But to speculate as far as what I know, generally, when you have a really good shareholders call, the stock can go up if people are very interested and excited about what's to come, and the stock can go down if they feel like there's a lack of room for growth in the future. Right now, the call didn't talk a lot about how Red Dead Online is not great from a content standpoint. And it just isn't great from a content standpoint. Their call didn't mention that a lot, and it's not something that you'd want to mention to your shareholders. Instead, they focused on, hey, they're going to have a lot of content in the future, confirming that Red Dead Online is going to be something that is worked on into the future, hardcore. It is a main focus for them, and different parts of their talk have different parts of the shareholder talk have highlighted this. One part specifically being Take-Two has looked at their net bookings in the future, aka like the revenue they're going to get, and 60% of that is going to be coming from Rockstar. So the whole company Take-Two has other IPs as well, like the people that do NBA 2K and stuff like that. So there's a lot of other things that are going on. 60% of their revenue, income, net bookings are planning on coming from Rockstar. So great. Rockstar is, they're not dying anytime soon. Like Red Dead Online is still going to be getting worked on, but it's not where it needs to be right now. It's not where it needs to be right now. Just to kind of end on a upside note, because I think there was a lot of good that was said in the shareholdings call, especially one part where, and I mentioned this in the video earlier today, that Strauss talked about how their focus is to deliver value with their entertainment. And it was specifically when he was asked for, hey, there's a lot of free-to-play games coming out, and do you think that's a model that people are going to start following, and that is it something that you guys want to start following? And his answer was basically, you know, it's an interesting concept, but right now our main focus is delivering the most value for the considered like median price of content, which is $60 for a new title. A new game generally costs $60, especially from AAA developers, and their focus and has been and always will be to deliver more passion and entertainment value behind every single one of their games than their competitors can. And they have done that successfully, but they've shot themselves in the foot at the same time. So they've done that really successfully with Red Dead 2 releasing and being this amazing story that, you know, has you up late at night and whatever. You're so into this story and how detailed the world is and the atmosphere of it, and you're crying when things happen at times during the story. Phenomenal. And when you spend that $60 to that game, you're like, wow, amazing, amazing. I wish there was more, and we all do wish there was more. But then you release the online and it's not amazing. So then the consumer gets a bad taste in their mouth when, you know, you do the story, oh, it's so good, and then the online's there and you're like, wow, there's more, but then you go to more and it's not good. And what that does essentially is that now we have a bad taste in our mouth because we've gone to the extended version of their online or extended version of their game, the online, and it's not good. So now that $60 doesn't feel like it was worth it. Whereas if you didn't have that online, and I'm not saying I would rather they have not released the online, I'm glad that they did, because I've created a bunch of content around it on this channel. But rather than release the online, players don't get that sour taste in their mouth when they're done, because they're done and the experience was great. But now when you're done, the experience isn't so great because online isn't so great, and there's that negative taste left. So all these different things, and I think a lack of focus on Rockstar releasing more for Red Dead Online very soon. I think going to the shareholder call, people were extremely excited to see, all right, Rockstar, what are they releasing tomorrow? What's coming the next day, the week after that? And we didn't get that answer. The answer we got was, hey, we're going to accelerate update going into the future, so 2020 is going to be a great year. Cool. I'm glad that 2020 is going to be a great year, and it probably will all work out for them in the long run. But at that moment, it wasn't the answer that a lot of people were looking for, and I think that's why the stock dropped as heavy as it did, the lowest it's been in the month, and honestly in the last few months, because when it released in Q3 of last year, Red Dead 2, stock for Take-Two just skyrocketed. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you're not subbed already, make sure to do it, and I hope to see you in a future video. Until then, take care.